Awesome. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on a Saturday morning. We don't have a big audience this morning, but that's okay. Three, this is enough. This is more than enough, right?
Yep.
So, and I think it's because it's a good morning. Is it Kayo? Kayo? I can't pronounce her name. Kayoyo. I can't pronounce that. So, anyway, Joanne, the reason why, or for everyone, the reason why I do this the odd time is that throughout the week and just, I get so many phone calls and so many people reaching out to me. And again, they're just struggling with their job search. So this is an opportunity for me just to give back to the HR community and just, hey, you know what? I don't want anything, but this is just my way of saying here, let me share some of my knowledge. Let me pass that down to people and just paying it forward, right?
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
but I will start by saying this. There's so many people right now that are struggling. I mean, as long as I've been doing this, Joanne, so many people struggle with their jobs. Finding a good job is a lot of work, right? It's not easy. There's a lot involved in it. Like, right, finding the right location, finding the right job, the right
Mm.
fit, the right compensation. There's all these things to consider, and it makes it even harder. And then on top of that, you add Trump now starting this war in the Middle East. You've got that going on. You still got Russia and Ukraine. You got the tariffs. You got the tariffs between Canada and the U.S. So all these things, and there's so much fear in the
Mm.
economy right now, and I think that's impacting obviously things like the labor market, right? It's impacting all industries, not just the labor market, but like the housing market is impacted. The cost for fuel is impacted. The cost of food is skyrocketed, right? So it's all these things are being impacted, but um, I was talking to another recruiter yesterday. She's similar to what I do, and she's in the same boat. She says, companies are taking longer to find talent. They're much more pickier than they were before. So it's getting harder to find a good job now. Would
Yeah. Yeah.
would you?
So, I'm curious from your perspective. So we know that job seekers are struggling to land. It can take months, if
Yeah.
not over a year, for someone to land a job. From your perspective, why is it so hard? There's so many great talented people in the market. Why are employers struggling?
Okay. That's a very good question, and I have a theory on that. I think there's a couple things. I think because employers believe that there's so many people now that they can wait and get this perfect applicant. There's so many there's an influx of applicants on the market right now looking for work. So therefore, I can sit and wait a little longer. The role's been open for a month. I can go an extra. I can buy another 30 days. I can buy another 60 days, right? Hoping and praying that that's magical applicant, this unicorn falls out of the sky and just falls into their lap. I'll share an example with you. There was a client that we're working with in Markham. He called me in January. He was looking for an HR coordinator, Joanne, on site manufacturing. I love him. He's a good friend of mine, but he took 4 months to fill the role, which typically it shouldn't take that. It should take 4 to 6 weeks to find
Hmm.
a candidate, right?
Yes.
But I think a lot of times too, they've been burned. So many employers have been burnt by applicants that come in say they can do the job and they don't end up doing what they say they do, so they get burnt. So I think applicants or organizations are just being careful, right? They're being
So,
cautious, right?
so yeah, something's happening in their interview process then. They're not interviewing effectively. If they're getting burned, they're hiring the wrong person,
Yeah,
right?
yes, Joanne. But the other thing too is that candidates will come in and say all the right things, right? And then you believe that this is the perfect candidate, and on
Mm,
paper they look great, and they come in and they say all these magical things to you, and they win the interview, and then they get in the seat, and then, well, where's this person I hired?
mm.
Right? So I agree with you, but the other side of the coin is that yes, we've asked all the right questions, we've done our due diligence, we've done our references, we've done criminal credit check, all that passed. And then sometimes when you get them in the seat, they don't perform for whatever reason, right? So it's tricky, right? But just going back to that HR coordinator, he was so specific on what he wanted. He gave me the location. I want people to work in this China general area. I want people from manufacturing. I want XYZ and all these little details. And I said,
Mm.
when you do that, you're only looking at a select candidates. It's a very small pool. We can open up the pool if we look at, but people have biases, Joanne.
Yes, and they want unicorns.
They want unicorns.
But if hiring managers wait too long, finance is going to step in and say, well, it's been 6 months. You haven't
Yeah.
filled the role. You
Yeah.
obviously don't need the role.
Yeah.
And then that puts pressure on everybody else on the team.
Yeah.
So it sounds like hiring managers are ineffective at making hiring decisions.
Yes, Joanne, I would say there's truth to that. I would also say that, but these are HR professionals, and you would think that they're the subject matter expert when it comes to this,
Right.
right? Um, so I think I think it's just again, it's getting there's a lane. It's just getting harder and harder.
Yeah.
It's getting harder and harder, right?
Well, let's talk about resumes because I know that recruiters are trusting resumes less and less.
Recruiters are
Because
trusting.
yes, because more and more resumes are starting to look the same.
Hi, Elaine. Um, Thanks for joining us. Okay, Joanne, here's a question for you then on resumes. Are people putting the resume just Chat GPT or Copilot? Is that what they're doing now?
100%.
Okay.
So, and I example of that, I've seen where candidates they look fantastic on paper.
Yeah.
Employer's going to screen them. There
Yeah.
is a huge disconnect. The candidate on video
Yeah.
fails to communicate their value, talk about the wins and achievements that they've stated on their resume.
Yeah.
So there's that piece to it. So
Yeah.
recruiters are now rather than yes, resumes are so important because it is the source of um
Well, it's
the let's go ahead.
it's the first thing employers see,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Right. So yes,
But
it is critical, but not the whole part of it though. It is critical.
right,
I don't
because
want to
now
discount it.
now recruiters are going to LinkedIn and sourcing their own candidates.
Yes. So and
So
so
as a recruiter, I'm going to post the job on my website, on the company website.
yeah.
But I'm in my head, and when I was working in HR, I'm post a job, and then I think, who in my network do I know, and who on LinkedIn can I find?
Yeah.
So who is discoverable
Yeah.
on LinkedIn? So LinkedIn is becoming more powerful in that search. So because employers are getting hundreds, if not thousands, of applicants for a role, and
They're
there's
doing
just not
yeah.
enough hours in the day to look at everybody, even if after you go through the filters and
Yeah.
maybe you get that 1,000 candidates down to 500. There's
So
not
I
enough time.
there's not enough time. So I agree
Yeah.
with you. There's two parts of that. So employers, one, are getting flooded with countless resumes of over underqualified applicants. Part one.
Yes.
Part
Yes.
two is the internal recruiter, and I ask this question often. When they do have a really good candidate, do they understand? Can they recognize, hey, this is a really
Mm.
good candidate? But they're inundated with so many resumes, and they're click, 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 and then we know on average, hiring managers look at resumes for 6 seconds. I believe oftentimes they pass up on a really good candidate because they're staring at a mountain of resumes, and they could be passing the perfect candidate,
Yes.
right? In some cases,
Yes.
right? Which leads me to my next point. That's the other part of it. But which leads me to my last point. Well, there's AI and all these fancy tools. Yes, companies have ATSs and they have these softwares where they house resumes. But many actually organizations, Elena, and you know this, and Joanne, they actually a lot of them don't even have ATS. They're still working with no
Right.
ATSs or
Right.
HRIS systems, and
Yeah.
they're doing it manually.
Yeah.
So this is why it just adds now just another layer to the recruitment process that makes it even more harder.
Yeah. I think there's an incredible amount of pressure on recruiters, internal recruiters, and external, like yourself,
Yeah. It,
just
it
dealing with the
it's
volume.
it's like volume. And so in addition to that too, there's an influx of newcomers to Canada that are now they were promised, hey, come to Canada, we're gonna get you this great job and you're gonna get this great home and stuff. And then they get here and they're like, I can't even find a job. Many of them are actually going back home.
Yeah, I think they were overpromised.
They were overpromised.
Yes.
Right by government, and they made promises to them, and then so I get so many phone calls from newcomers to Canada, students, even senior HR executives, that they're all in that same boat. They're all
Hmm.
struggling with their job search, and they're like, what am I doing wrong? And I oftentimes reply by, it's nothing you're doing wrong, it's just this is what it is. It takes you gotta do something more different now. Than you can't just
Yes.
click and send your resume. It
Yes.
takes more than that,
Yes.
right? Elaine, I think you just landed a job, if I'm not mistaken, or you're interviewing now.
I'm doing some interviewing at the moment. Yes.
Can you share, please, with our audience your experiences with your like, and you're a seasoned HR professional. You've done well, and you're struggling. You've had a hard time too.
Uh, Actually, I was going to say that this time around, a lot of my opportunities to interview have been through networking.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
and it is professional networking, and you're right, Joanne, because I've seen the article on the discussion of the increasing use of AI to the resume, and I'm actually quite curious to know, from your recruiting lens, is how are you able to find the right candidates to do your initial screening? From my lens as a candidate, um, do I use AI? Yes, but I leverage AI for my decision-making process. My judgment is authentic. I come first. So I use AI to do refinement, but I work with it. I don't replace AI. So that's the piece that's so important as to how I'm able to move forward. The other piece is as I interview with the recruiter as well as with the hiring team, you have to demonstrate your preparedness. I spend an incredible amount of time, effort, and energy and dedication as if I was working on a project or on an assignment and contributing to high impact organizations to study, to understand the business, to prepare on what it is that the questions could be. And no amount of preparation, I think, will actually get you the right answer each and every time because it's so organic in your conversation. For me, what's been very, very helpful, again, you have to practice, you have to prepare, and you also have to develop the relationship. And it's not just that one done touch, it is continuous. So that in the months and in the years that go by, don't forget to continue to stay in contact, right? This is the people piece that really gets you onto the front door because they may not have landed you, you may not have landed the role, but they remember you and they remember that authentic conversation. And there may be just a couple of things that they were looking for at that point in time. But a year from now, things have changed. And that conversation that they had with Elaine, you know what? Let's give her a call. Let's have a chat with her and see if this is something that she would be interested in. And let's not forget, as you continue your career, keep an open eye for contract positions, the fractional leadership, the interim. Those are also very, very encouraging in ways to land an opportunity and an assignment to get you a basic understanding and feel of the industry and the sector. So that's what I had recently, an opportunity to try the public sector to complement my private sector. What does this mean as a candidate? Now I have cross-sector experience. You don't need to have 20 years necessarily. It depends on what you're looking for. So that's what's been working for me, and I'm always grateful. Every time I get an opportunity to interview, it's like taking a vitamin C tablet. There's so much energy and enrichment that complements you, both from the knowledge, the development of your mind to learn, to be open, but you also learn from the recruiters, and that's how I'm able to move to the direction I'm in right now.
So Elaine, really quickly, over the years, I've seen so many applicants pass up on contract opportunities, and they said, "I'm looking for full time only," and my rebuttal to that would be like, "Well, what if this opportunity turns into full time?" Or what if they only hire you for 3 months, but you do such a great job? 2 months later, another opportunity opens up. You know what? Elaine was here for 3 months. Can you call her, see if she's still available, see if she'd like to join us on a full-time opportunity? So I think the message that you shared with us is one, go to your interviews because you never know who you're going to meet and you're going to learn something. And don't pass up on contract opportunities because oftentimes contract opportunities lead to full-time opportunities. And I stress that all the time. I placed an applicant last week downtown. A client called me and says, "Pino, we need someone on a 3 month assignment, just an HR coordinator, recruitment support." Great. Submitted a candidate, she gets the job. They absolutely love her. She sent me Janet, the VP of HR, called me and said, she's doing a fantastic job. Now, it may not go full time, but what if someone resigns? What if they automatically get headcount for an extra role? We love this girl. She's been great. Now she gets her full time job. That's how it gets started, right? So I think so many people are fixated. This is the location I want. This is the salary I want, and this is the full time. and they have this the checklist. But I think we have to go into the job search with an open mind, saying, okay, it may not get the location I want, may not get the salary I want, but it's a start, or it's going to lead to something else. And you get that ball rolling and you get the experience, right? And then you just go from there.
And
Yes.
how is the contract role in the short assignment going to continue your development, continue to add to your experiences?
Yeah.
Because that's how you become more mature in how you make your decisions and how you express yourself. It's by working with different teams,
Yeah.
understanding different dynamics of
Yeah.
uh, how you're going to exercise empathy and
Yeah.
leadership, and also be able to understand different cultures, because that's the other piece, right? Fit. So if you have more experience with different organizations, different sectors, you gain a greater appreciation of all the different types of cultures that are out there. And it's just ultimately up to you to make the decision on where you
Okay.
land.
I'm so glad you met. We're gonna do a Q&A soon, but Joanne and Elaine, I want to ask you, and I'm going to talk to Leslie. Elaine, do you know Leslie Kobayashi?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
I did.
so I'm doing a call with her in a couple of weeks. We're going to talk about company culture because that plays a big part in the job search. What is actually company culture? What is it, and why is it so important? I'll leave
Jo-
it to you guys, Joanne or Elaine.
I've been
Who wants
talking a
to?
lot, so I thought I'd just
Okay, what
This
is company
was
culture? Let's start there. What is company culture? What is
I mean it's so hard to describe it. But it's internal language, how teams collaborate. The one of my
philosophies, beliefs?
Yeah, yeah. One of my frustrations as an HR professional when I was in corporate with every hiring manager said, "Well, this candidate they don't fit our culture."
Yeah,
But if you have everybody that like you have to think out of the box, like and you want to add and enhance the culture.
yeah,
And the more you continue thinking, well, they have to fit our culture, your culture is going to shrink.
yeah.
I would say when you're asking about culture, it's actually an unwritten rule. It isn't specified sometimes as
Yeah.
clearly as you would see on the website or in the job description. It's when you actually are in that role and you are able to learn and observe from your peers and from the leadership team and also the team that you support. And that comes from having a level of maturity to also know that what the organization expects of you, you also have to take care of yourself. Also understand your strengths and where you feel your values are aligned to. So where it's important to fit into culture, yes, but don't forget to take care of yourself. And I think that will take you much longer, take you into a healthier space in the long run.
Okay, Joanna, Elaine, throughout your career, have you ever been told that you've gone to an interview and have you ever been told you guys have been great, but you just don't fit our company culture?
No,
That's never been told to you.
no.
Never been told. Okay. Okay. Because I've been told as a recruiter sitting at this desk over the years, great candidate, just don't fit our company culture. So, and I think and I think it's frustrating for
Oh,
job seekers is
sorry, I misunderstood the question, Pino. Are
have
you
you gone
saying,
for an interview? Have you gone for an
oh,
interview
me personally? Yeah,
and said
no, no,
you never experienced that?
no. And I don't think an employer would say that to
Wouldn't
an
necessarily say that.
external, they might say it to you, being the external recruiter, that your candidate you've brought to us
Yeah.
doesn't fit the culture.
Yeah. They would say it to me, but
Yes,
they would never communicate that to an applicant.
correct.
Yeah. Okay.
I would also say that even feedback, I often ask for feedback because that way it gives me an opportunity to understand what type of person they're looking for. Maybe I can get something, read between the lines. But
Yeah.
even it is less common to receive direct feedback in the
Yes.
aftermath of the.
Okay.
Can we
Okay.
go back to what Elaine was saying, like going to interviews? And I agree with everything you said. And I want to add to that where a lot of candidates miss out on the opportunity to connect with the hiring manager after, even though they've been not selected for the role. Sending thank yous is so important because I've seen it numerous times where, you started the call saying, well, your friend hired the wrong person. And so they're going to go back to the candidates that they interviewed to replace that. And it happens often where you're going to get a callback if you've left the door open after an interview.
Yeah.
So it's really important to, gracefully, respond. Thank you for your time and consideration. Love to keep the door open and even follow up with them 3 months later. Just check in, see how they're doing with the new hire. And things
Yeah.
change fast these days in organizations.
Yeah.
Somebody could resign and now this person that got hired could get moved. And now there's a new
Yeah.
opening.
Yeah.
Like that's why it's so important to stay connected
Yeah.
and have a digital footprint on LinkedIn
Yeah.
showcasing who you are, your zone of genius,
Mhm.
because you will be, the more visibility you have, the more likely someone's going to remember you
And see you.
and yeah, and see you.
Another
Yeah.
thing that I found that has worked well, two things. One, just going back to your question about company culture. As a candidate, you can ask questions about the culture. You just have to structure your question intelligently and ask it at the appropriate time. And so that means you have to actively listen to what you're being told or asked by the recruiter and then think about it, pause. And then you can reflect back and say, if I understand correctly, or here's what you need. I'm the candidate for this role. I can fill that gap because of the following reasons, because this is what you're talking about and this is what you're saying to me today.
Yes.
And the other piece is that those questions could be about why is this role vacant? Can you tell me a little bit more about the pain points that you're experiencing? What's the style of your hiring manager? What do they enjoy doing? Little
Yeah.
things that just sort of a little bit more of a relaxed moment in a formal setting can sometimes help, but you have to know
Yeah.
when to move in that direction. And on the piece of thank you notes, make it intentional. It is not
Mhm.
a standard thank you for your time. Let's connect going forward. It's about incorporating the words and the importance of what the recruiter has said to you. If they're saying we need somebody with strong attention to detail, we need somebody who's got a great governance mindset, reinforce that that's what you have, those qualities as you thank the partnership and the new connection you've made, because that could end and should resonate that the conversation you had was very authentic. And you know what? That can't be done with the use of AI because you're looking at the person as you're talking. You're looking at another human being. It's human to human. It's not machine to machine. So, and recruiters, and I've already spoken to one who said they can see that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're asking questions and the candidate is looking elsewhere,
Yeah.
reading other things. When I interview, I'm pretty, upfront. I say, look, I have a notepad. I'm going to be writing some notes. I'm listening to you, and that's how I'm, understanding the requirements here. And I will continue to refer to some notes that I've taken in advance, but it's on paper. It's again authentic. I'm not looking at different computer screens because again, as you move into stage two interview, stage three interview, final interviews, panel interviews, you're going to get yourself in a bit of a, difficult situation if you're relying only on AI.
I I agree with you. Elaine, Joanne, you guys have been giving our audience great intel into the recruitment process and what to do and not to do. Visibility, thank you emails, company culture. These are great tips. But I want to pause for a little bit, and we're gonna ask the audience if they have